What's going on, guys? Ryan the Mighty Quinn here, the Cornermen _MMA, UFC 283. So, good night of fights. Good night of fights. The Figueiredo and Moreno came as advertised. I know it ended a little early. Actually, that was interesting. I was thinking a little bit about the he thought he got poked in the eye, then he realized he didn't. It feels like an eye poke. The punches just feel different when you get caught on that knuckle to the eye. And that would be my immediate reaction too, as I got poked in the eye. Especially you just got hit for 15 plus minutes, and this feels different than this. So that was unfortunate the way it ended, but safety first, which is a topic we're going to get into in a minute. But no, it was overall, it was a great night of fights. The main event, obviously, I have a relationship with Glover, so I wasn't so happy with the that he lost, but I was happy that he got out of there, safe. He had a great showing. Um, Announced his retirement after focusing on coaching. He's in a good place, and I'm really happy for him. And further down the card, so actually, we'll just get started with what I wanted to talk on. So the Lauren Murphy Jessica Andrade fight. Now, uh, Lauren lost. I think it was 2 10-8 rounds on one card, 3 8 10-8 rounds on another. On the other two or something like that. Uh, so the plan was for her to go to the ground. Jessica was just beating her up on the feet. The corner said something. I believe somebody told me it was Carrington Banks said something that I just thought it was a pretty poor decision to give your fighter this advice. She was already trying to do it. He said, we need to make this a wrestling match. Now, she was trying to do that. So we understand that you need to wrestle. We need to get her to the ground. How do we go about it? That's what you're there for as the corner. She knows she needs to take her down. She exhibited that in the fight. So why isn't she able to take her down? Not that she needs to take her down, how to take her down. That's what the corner's supposed to be doing. And I think that was just it was too broad of advice. You need to really narrow it down at that point with the fighter. What I would have told her to do, 'cause she was trying to shoot. At times, she was even trying to shoot underneath shots. It wasn't very, very tough to do against a shorter opponent. You got a lot of level change to do there. What he should have been telling her to do was jab. He's got to connect. You have to connect. We got to box her a little bit. We have to connect to get her hands up so we can get her hands away from her legs for defense. You got to throw hands a little bit to get her to give her a sense of security up here. You got to move your head with your punches on your way in. You're not moving your head with your punches. You got to throw more volume. As soon as you connect, you could shoot. That's the stuff we got to tell her. 1-2s, 1-2s. As soon as we connect and we get our hands up, as soon as you get her hands up by her face, that's when you down. That's when we can make it a wrestling match. That's corner advice that you need to give a fighter. She's getting beat up because you got to keep wrestling. You got to keep wrestling. That's not going to work. That's not. She's trying that. She was actually successfully displaying her cornerman advice in that fight. So something later on down the card in the main event, in between rounds 4 and 5, John Hackelman, been with Glover roughly 20 years. He said to his other corner, John Nandor, who's one of Glover's number one training partners and grappling coaches over the past 10 years or so. He said, "Should we stop the fight?" The commentary brought it up, and that's something that's pretty interesting. Are they going to stop this fight? And obviously, Glover made the decision for everybody. We're not stopping this fight. So, we need to understand, like, as coaches, as corner, let's leave. I know John has obviously he thinks of Glover like a son, but let's leave that out. Let's also leave out that John Hackelman is a registered nurse and he knows about taking damage, and he's been around combat sports for I think 30 plus years. So he could, when he's thinking of a decision like that, he's on par. What goes into this? So remember, fighter safety first. Fighter safety first. Similar to how the fight was stopped in the main event. If it was getting a little hairy, Glover's eye was swollen here, his other eye was cut, and this needs to be talked about for a second. He didn't say stop this fight. He didn't say stop this fight. He said to Dandor, he said, can we stop this fight? Let's discuss this real quick. They clearly had a 10-second conversation, maybe less, and then the fight went on. I didn't see any backlash on the corner, on the media with that at all yet today, but I wanted to get ahead of that. John Hackleman's somebody I've known for a very long time. And if he's coming to that decision, he clearly sees something or he clearly knows it needs to be discussed. They did. John Nandor kind of pushed the executive decision that he believed Glover was going to look for. Glover made it through the fight. He didn't get knocked out, you know. So I just thought those were two interesting topics to touch on: fighter safety and how to implement a game plan with your coach. With your fighter, that people need to keep in mind going forward. I think that this is a good coaching learning experience for you aspiring coaches out there. You know, how to get the point across to your fighter and how to keep your fighter safe. Now, maybe as opposed to the Glover fight, these decisions don't really these aren't really discussions that you have. At what point do we know to stop the fight? These are not those are not discussions. First of all, you never look to stop the fight, but yeah, you got to worry about the fighter safety and everything. But these aren't discussions that come up. I can't ever remember when I was going in to corner somebody, or hey, we're going to stop the fight if this happens. But I can never remember that. So it's a really tough. You have that 10-second window, if that, to really make that decision with the other corners. Luckily, it played out well. Glover didn't get knocked out. It was great. Anyway, guys, that's what I got. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, and share. So, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.